and what I've seen in the last week, people are suddenly prepared to pay more. They're looking at that watch in terms of a higher value for what it offers, what it is, which is fair enough. The veil has been lifted, it seems. And keep your eyes on things, because it does look like some of these gems that have been kicking about in the market for years are suddenly being appreciated. Why should this watch still be £100 on the pre-owned market and not £200 suddenly, an immediate inflated jump? Does the £200 figure more accurately reflect its value? I feel I have to share this with you. I saw something quite revealing yesterday about the watch market. It didn't occur to me at first what I stumbled on yesterday online. It was only afterwards when I thought about it. And it didn't really register. I didn't give it much thought until today when I was in the shower. And I thought, that's interesting. I'm going to do a video about that while it's fresh in my mind. It's to do with the watch market at the value end. Not the top end, the Rolexes, the Pateks, nothing like that. We'll know what's happened to the prices in the last couple of years after the binge-fueled pandemic situation. Forget that. This is about the value end of the market. And I saw something that surprised me. I've had this Citizen chronograph, EcoDrive, for nearly 7 years. I did a video about it just a couple of weeks ago. I'll link to that in the description and at the end. Now, you could get these 1 year ago for about £90. There was a few of them, £90, something like that, used on eBay. Other than extremely ropey examples, you can't get them for that now. The prices are between £150 and £350. Huge increase. Now, I'm sure it's what you actually get. Why should this watch be only £90? EcoDrive chronograph, EcoDrive powered chronograph, fully working, a total strap monster, date display, and what would you have to pay retail for the equivalent watch now from any brand? I have another video uploaded in the last month about the Seiko Saab 33. It's quite a popular video, it's on my channel. But the conclusion in that video, I'd lived with the Saab for a week or two, and I was, figuring out why the price had jumped. It was pretty much double what it was at retail now in the used market, compared to a lot of watches that don't do that. They depreciate. It certainly needs no introduction, but please do check out the recent video on my site, on my channel, because at the end of that video I give some very well considered reasons for the Saab's current value in the market, and some conclusions that I've come to purely down to my own experience with it. Watch that video if you haven't already seen it. It's quite revealing about all sorts of areas of watch collecting. That Grail watch, watches that perhaps have been undervalued in the past that have now found their real value. What makes a particularly collectible, sought after watch, the features, the design, the X factor. Watch that. But my conclusion was that where the Saab had originally retailed in today's money, inflation adjusted, for around £300, so what's that, $360, it's now around £420, $500, something like that. My conclusion was in that video that it has found its natural level based on value and what it offers compared to everything else in the market. Now I have another example. As I'm looking into the watch market and thinking about things and looking at new releases from some of the more value oriented brands, I want to show you one more example before I come on to the conclusion. And I'm also interested in your thoughts. What do you think? Am I right? Is this a sleeper situation that's going on in the background of the watch market that we're perhaps not all quite aware of yet? So the third element of all this that I want to have a look at is triggered really by the new releases from the likes of Seiko and Citizen at the lower end of the range. In the past, the Seiko 5s were maybe £120, $150, let's say. Citizen Eco Drives were maybe 110, 120. All of those now are starting at around the £300 mark. The new Seiko 5 launches, the SNXS, the Citizen Ciosa, that's £300, $299. And that seems to be the starting point for these brands now. Why should this watch still be £100 on the pre-owned market and not £200 suddenly, an immediate inflated jump? Does the £200 figure more accurately reflect its value to anybody who would own it and wear it? And that is fair enough. We have had inflation, the world keeps turning, and charging double what you might have charged 10 years ago for something, that's an annual compound rate of 7% a year, is fairly reasonable. Which will feed onto my next point about the used pre-owned market. And what I'm wondering, open for discussion, comment, what I'm wondering is whether we are sleepwalking into a situation where the rising tide lifts all ships. And perhaps you should jump on now while you can. The experience of that Citizen and what I've seen in the last week. People are suddenly prepared to pay more. They're looking at that watch in terms of a higher value for what it offers, what it is, which is fair enough. The veil has been lifted, it seems. And I'm just wondering about the pre-owned market and the direction that it's going at the value end, because to be quite blunt, you get a hell of a lot for your money. And my experience of the pre-owned watch market, I've got a lot of experience of that now. I would say 80% of my watches are pre-owned, and in all honesty, I've had very, very good experiences in that area, even down to the timekeeping on some of the more vintage watches. Great. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Keep your eyes on things, because it does look like some of these gems that have been kicking about in the market for years are suddenly being appreciated. Until next time, take care.